Back in the day, it was all about Nintendo and Sega. Nintendo had Mario, Sega had Sonic. These were the two big mascots of the video game arena. Nobody else could even come close. It was a two-party system until the character Gex came along representing the 3DO. Now, Gex was exclusive to the 3DO, just barely long enough for a sloppy crap to drop from a sloth's because later that same year of '95, it was ported to the Saturn and PS1. So now both Sega and Sony had the Gecko on their side. Two sequels followed, which were on both the N64 and PS1, and until 2000, Gex was the mascot for the developer Crystal Dynamics, who are also known for Legacy of Kain and Tomb Raider. Now that I just spit out all that history, let's talk about the character. What exactly is Gex? Well, he's a wisecracking, TV-watching secret agent gecko who's voiced by stand-up comic actor and writer Dana Gould, at least in the North American versions, who also wrote for The Simpsons from 2001 till 2007. So basically, Gex is just another green smartass like Michelangelo or Mondo Gecko. Yeah, remember Mondo Gecko? Or maybe it's more like the Geico Gecko. A talking gecko? Why?
I'll tell you why. Because people trust advertising icons.
Gex, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on games. So the game begins with a weird cutscene.
I had just finished my usual morning routine of nude funkercise.
Nude funkercise? Can somebody explain that to me? Or no? How about not? So the main hub is the media dimension, which is home to a bunch of TV channels that Gex has to travel through as he fights his way across a bunch of side-scrolling stages, each with a different TV theme, and ultimately has to go head-to-head with the main villain, Rez. All along, Gex keeps saying annoying one-liners.
It's tail time!
Just a bunch of random quotes, either throwaway jokes or references to movies or shows.
You moved the headstones, but you didn't move the body!
They're rarely well-timed and often just come out of nowhere.
Number one, raise sheep. George of jungle.
Sorry, Mr. Presley. Looks like bugs after the trucks.
Hey, where's Jane Fonda?
This is the worst health club I have ever been to.
Hey, where's Jane Fonda?
Jeez, Gex is annoying. I guess it could be argued that Mario is just as annoying sometimes.
Hey, where's Jane Fonda?
But maybe we've gotten used to Mario. We put up with his But this is like if I just blurt out unnecessary quotes any chance I get. I'm king of the world! Here's Johnny. There's no crying in baseball. Sometimes not only is it random, but it makes no sense.
This place is weirder than 4th of July at Rick James' place.
Huh. Rick James, 4th of July. I don't get it. So, I've played the 3DO, Saturn, and PlayStation versions, and they all seem identical. The first stage is horror-themed, clearly, where you fight Franken lizards and Leather Jason Face. Yeah, Leather Jason Face. That's fun to say. Try it. Yeah. Wait a minute. Pull down while jumping? Can you pull down the D-pad? The only thing I can think of which means pull down is when you pull down your pants. The biggest question is which one of these games is the easiest to save, and I still don't know the answer. In the 3DO version, I died and gave up on the cemetery stage before I ever found a spot to save. But you can save on the memory card. The PS1 version you'd think would be simple, just save to the memory card, right? But no, it has a password, and they're really hard to read. Is that a D or an R? Maybe it's better on a CRT TV. But man, it sucks having to re-enter the code every time you lose all your lives. If you keep dying, like I did, you'll eventually find yourself entering the passwords on pure muscle memory, like you're punching in the Contra code, except you only restart with 3 lives, so you bet your ass you'll be seeing the password screen a lot. Somehow it gets worse because you only get passwords after beating certain stages, like bosses for example. Each stage has hidden VCR tapes that also give you passwords to quote-unquote save your progress. But if you lose all your lives and haven't gotten a password in a while, you gotta redo a bunch of in the hopes that you'll get further than you did last time. Even the best levels in the world get old when you're forced to replay them on repeat. Otherwise, how is the game? Has it committed any real offenses yet? Well, look, the graphics are nice for a 2D side-scroller. very reminiscent of Donkey Kong Country from the year before, but maybe not what you would hope for a next-gen console on the brand new CD format. But hey, it's very colorful, the stages offer a lot of nice variety and cool things to look at. There's a cemetery, a cartoon land, jungle island, a kung fu themed stage, and the final Resopolis that's filled with acid pools, tubes, and moving platforms. The control is functional and unremarkable at the same time. It plays like a game. There's nothing weird going on. Yet.
Looks like Beetlejuice threw up.
Oh my gosh, the boss is chugging God knows what and then farting all over the place. He's farting! Now come on, that's just toilet humor. Now let's get on with this buffalo diarrhea bull. One big thing with Gex is that he can stick to the ceiling and climb on walls, just like a real-life gecko. It's probably one of the more unique elements of the gameplay. Gex can even climb on some background walls, which actually looks pretty cool. But sometimes I don't know which walls I can climb on because the background texture is blending into everything. Damn it. Other times, it looks like I can climb, but the game just won't let me. There's collectibles right there. Now that kind of really grinds my gears, but what really gets me going are the bullshit deaths. Well, that's gotta leave a mark. Another one bites the dust. Drop the ball there. Crash and burn. Game over, man. That's what Gex might say, but I'll just go with a simple, good old-fashioned. Oh my god, it's Gamera. And I'm not joking. It is Gamera. He's got the rocket jets and even does the spin. The real character's name is Toxic Turtle, but it's Gamera. Gamera! Gamera! Gamera!
Now listen to me, Grasshopper.
Oh, the game froze. You gotta be kidding me. That's just wonderful. That would have been a perfect time to shut the off. And it froze more than once. But the game isn't too bad. In fact, I'd say it's a pretty decent side-scroller, except the stages stretch on way too long. Like this level from the cartoon world, it has a million doors you've got to go in and out of to get to the next part. The level just goes on and on for so long that everything starts blending together, so I forget which doors I've gone into already, and I start going in circles. The same could be said for a few stages like the rocket ship level and the final kung fu stage. They just never seem to end. Come on. One thing that could have helped would have been the ability to move the camera around so you can see what's below you to avoid stupid deaths like this. Some platformers have this feature, like the Flintstones movie game on Super Nintendo, and well, this game really needed that since most of my deaths were from falling into bottomless pits and acid pools right below what I can see on screen. But probably the worst part is still the passwords, not just having to enter them, but trying to make it to the next password. Nobody likes having to redo the same over and over. Also, the one-liners are really out of hand. By the end of this, I must have heard Gex say Wilma 100 times. Wilma! Yeah, speaking of Flintstones. But hey, at least you can turn the voice lines off. And believe me, I looked. But you know what? Actually, the most annoying thing of all is the final boss, Rez.
Hey, it's Darth Vader's younger brother, Myron.
You have to keep jumping across TVs, grab the power up to damage him, keep hanging on the wall, keep dodging, and every once in a while, you get the chance to hit him. It's a marathon, but afterwards, you get a funny ending. You're the greatest. I think you deserve a medal. You kick butt. I think you are the epitome of all things great. You are the best gamer in the history of the state. No, more like the country. Actually, the best in the history of Earth. This goes on for over 7 minutes. I would make a joke, but it already is a joke. And we have 2 more games to go, so up next is Gex 2, Enter the Gecko. This is the first 3D Gex game. It tried to copy Super Mario 64, as it seemed every game at the time did. And as I mentioned before, it was released on both N64 and PS1. Even Windows and Game Boy Color if you really want to dig in. It's enough to make your head spin. So between the 2 consoles, I'd say in the PS1 version, the graphics are a little more crisp. You can read signs easier, the collectibles are cleaner, and the lighting looks way better. It also has an opening cutscene, which doesn't happen on the N64, probably because it's on a cartridge. The one-liners don't seem to repeat as much either.
All right, boys. Phases on stun.
But that's only because they had to cut a crapload of them and some music to fit the whole game on the 64 card. Oh, and the save system on PS1 is better. So, with all that said, let's play gex 64. First annoying factor is the confusing navigation. The stages are designed like Mario 64, where each one has multiple objectives and you can only accomplish one thing per playthrough. I mean, it is gex 64, so what else were you expecting? In Mario 64, you're collecting stars. In gex, it's TV remotes, but it's the same idea. The problem is that it's less clear where you're supposed to go, so you just run around aimlessly until you accidentally complete an objective or find a remote. The camera is the biggest problem of all. It just swivels all over the place. Hey, I can't see! Oh, did you see that? I was in the middle of a jump and it moved. The camera is not your friend. It's like, hey, I need some help here. Oh, you, see ya. But you can change it to manual. Now you have more control. That makes it a little easier. The aesthetics are fun. It has a playful style, making references to Bugs Bunny, Indiana Jones, Gilligan, James Bond, and Godzilla. Yeah, gotta love the Gexzilla stage. There's even a room that's flooded by an overflowing toilet. Now, if I'm gonna call anything a game, well, that just takes the turd. Oh, Gex, don't lick the toilet. Oh, no, that is one sick puppy. I mean, gecko. Oh, and on the Kung Fu stage, the music glitched, and it started sounding like Gex took a hard in the garbage disposal. Man, just listen to this. It's like a jackhammer to the ear. So I exited the level to try to fix it, and the game froze. Come on N64, on a cartridge? There are some incredibly annoying parts, like these doors, for instance. I don't know what you'd prefer to call this trope in gaming, but I'll dub it the Scooby-Dooty-Poo doors. It's when you have to figure out which doors lead to which doors through trial and error. It sucks. I don't like it. Both Kung Fu Theater stages have their problems, but the second one, Samurai Night Fever, is a real son of a There are so many moving platforms, so many tricky jumps, and all you do is fall. It sets you up for failure every step of the way. Even with the camera set to manual, the game just feeds you angle after angle. I'm in space where I can jump even higher, and the camera betrays me once again. How did I not make that jump? When you can't move the camera, the game makes this annoying chirping sound. Almost like a cuckoo clock. It's just to let you know the camera stopped. I don't know. I mean, what the hell is that? Glover did the same thing, but at least it had the courtesy to mix the bird chirps with the occasional fart and burp. Was this actually a trend at the time? Imagine if that happened in real life, if you turn your head too far and a woodpecker showed up. Ah! Then there's the N64 exclusive Titanic stage, where you have to use Gex's tail bounce to jump on. What is all this supposed to be anyway? Bunch of misplaced doorknobs and faucets? Getting to the top of this thing is like trying to climb a crap house wearing slippers. I will say the final boss is pretty cool. Rez is back, but this time he can grow bigger. Weird, creepy, and definitely something to remember. But after it's all done, there's no clever end scene, nothing like that, at least not on the N64 version. So, let's move on. Next up is Gex 3, Deep Cover Gecko. It's another 3D game, and like the last one, it was on both N64 and PS1. And between the two consoles, aside from all the usual differences, they have their own opening cutscenes. At least N64 has one this time, but it's just a bunch of magazine covers and newspaper headlines flying at the screen while a random British voice tells you the plot.
It all came to an untimely end when Agent Extra was mysteriously kidnapped.
On PlayStation, Gex is now a full-on secret agent or something, and has a conversation with a large-breasted FMV woman. Yeah, they put a real-life actress in the game, similar to Vincent Schiavelli in Corpse Killer. Except this time, it's Marlaise Andrada from Baywatch as Agent Extra, so I'm sure it drew a few more eyeballs.
Hey, speaking of secrets, you wanna see my...
Gex.
What the f? Anyway, I'm going to play N64 again because at this point I just played all of Gex 64, so it seems silly to adjust to a whole new controller layout. Typically speaking, you want things to be bigger in a sequel, an evolution, not just a regurgitation of the same you swallowed before. More things to do than you did in the last game, you know, and Gex 3 actually does that. There are more stages to play, with more variety between them, more power-ups and costume changes, and even more collectibles to collect. Speaking of collectibles, I haven't really gone into those yet, but essentially if you find 50 fly coins in a level, you earn an extra life. If you collect all 100, you get a remote. But if you die first, you're unless you find a checkpoint mid-level, you need to re-find every single collectible every time you die.
Swinging for the fences, baby!
In Gex 2, when you die and come back, your total collectibles stay the same. So why'd they feel the need to change this? Is it such a bad thing for people to get more extra lives? And Gex 2 even had cooler collectibles, since we're getting real petty at this point. Why do we go from a system with collectibles that changed form and matched each stage's theme to generic golden fly coins like the first game? We went backwards. It discourages wanting to pick the things up altogether, but they are your main source of extra lives, and those remotes are hard to come by. So even if you try to tell yourself that you're not going to pick them up, eventually you'll find yourself slipping into bouts of madness hunting for all 100 fly coins. And then you die after finding 99 of them and start considering giving yourself a lobotomy before attempting that again. But you do. Like I said, the stages feature a lot more variety this time. The levels are still broken up by different themes or TV shows, but none of the themes repeat like they did in Gex 2. Gex has a different outfit for almost every stage too. Sherlock Holmes, a gladiator, an Egyptian pharaoh, a mobster, Little Red Riding Hood, and Dracu-Gex, to name a few. He's got more wardrobe changes than Mel Brooks in one of his films. One stage is Christmas themed and has you battling snowboarding elves and Santa Claus to the death.
You're on the list.
Another stage lets you drive a tank and blow up a city, while another takes you all over a pirate ship. There's even a stage where they do the good, the bad, and the ugly whistle, and Gex dresses as the man with no name. How badass is that? You feel lucky, punk? Wait, does that say what I think it says? Is that a Donner Party reference? You know, the Donner Party who resorted to cannibalism to survive? And I thought this sign was a little much for a Nintendo game. That's pretty crazy. And wait, what's that sign coming into view? Visit Pooptown, USA? Pooptown? You're me, right? Oh my god, I think I see it on the horizon. Holy mother of God, that is one big pile of and it's covered in nuts. That's gross. I'm riding an ass on a turd. Oh, Gex, don't lick the turd. Yeah, those peanuts are not sanitary. Much like the last game, all the stages are connected by a hub world, this time apparently Gex's secret island cave, where you can run around and decide which order to play the stages in. Yeah, I mentioned Mario 64 a lot, and not only did it revolutionize the 3D platformer as a whole, but it also solidified that if you're going to make one of these things, then everything needs to be connected in a hub. Yeah. Whatever happened to a simple map? You know, like Gex 1. No, that would be too easy. So you have to run all over the place, searching high and low for minutes at a time just to play the next stage so that you can collect enough remotes to challenge the bosses.
It's tail time!
You can tell wrestling was still really hot in '99, just in case anyone forgot, because the first boss fight is a wrestling match against Rock Hard. The boss music even sounds like a crappy wrestler's theme song. Yeah.
That's the bottom line, 'cause Rock Hard said so.
Oh, that's messed up. Now it's personal.
Hit me, go on, hit me!
Oh, you gotta be kidding me, right? He turned me into a basketball? Oh, the disrespect. Beating the bosses nets you the key to the next section of the hub world and your next slew of levels to find. Besides Rez, the final boss, the only other major boss in the game besides Rock Hard is the Lizard of Oz. Lions and tigers and gecko oh my! I wonder if Gex likes to wipe his ass with his tail. Anyway, he's dressed as the Tin Man for this battle. I hope he didn't use aluminum paint for the costume. Just avoid the annoying TV enemies and shoot him in the giant dumb face with the cannons that appear, and you're one key closer to the final battle. Gex 3 is actually not that bad. Sure, it's got some problems, but overall, I had a lot more fun than I was honestly expecting. I mean, yeah, I got lost pretty often, and I wasted more time than I'd like to admit, wondering where the last collectible is on this damn beanstalk. Oh, there it is. Pretty much if you liked Gex 2, you're probably gonna like Gex 3. They even fixed the camera, mostly. I mean, I just don't think I can bring myself to hate a game that brought us Poop Town, USA. After beating the final boss on N64, the game ends on another wet diarrhea fart to the face. We cut to Gex's rad, bow-tied turtle butler Alfred relaxing on the beach. Yeah, British butler named Alfred. So original. Remember that random British voice I mentioned in the beginning of the game? Yep, that was Alfred. Alfred.
He thinks that he rescued Extra all by himself.
He tries saying Gex couldn't have done it without his help, like his tooltips in-game were really all that helpful.
Entering the training area should allow you to brush up on your skills.
No kidding. Yeah, and he drops some sequel bait.
Mr. Gex and I will return soon. Ta-ta for now.
But this would end up being the last Gex game, so I guess it was just wishful thinking. Like the ending of the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The 93 version. And that's basically it. Like I said, hot, wet fart to the face. Not that great. So, that was the Gex trilogy. And to be honest, it wasn't as bad as the I usually play. It was kind of middle of the road, which is where the horse usually lands. Yeah, it's a horse and buggy kind of road. But anyway, the thing that really bummed me out was the ending. It was so lackluster. I wonder if the PS1 ending is any better. Well, that's what YouTube is for, so let's check it out.
And then, after he showed me his entire collection of Star Trek bloopers, he asked me to marry him.
That's my dad. Good thing I got you out of there when I did. As I was saying, Extra, my love, it's tail time.
Come here, you silly gecko. Oh, Gex.
You know what? I was fine with the first ending. You gecko mother...